Hey everyone, it's Joel from the Fun Pimps. I hope everyone had a good vacation or Christmas break and New Year's and a safe one. We are back to work here at the Fun Pimps, and we've got a lot of cool stuff to show you in the next preview. But first order of business is to get caught up on the Q&A. So let's kick things off with Terrio. Hey, could you add a block name when looking at a block which will be mined? I tend to have a hard time recognizing ores when mining my ultra low textures and resolution settings. Maybe. Um, there's been some discussion about that, and I think um, it would be handy for, especially now that we can texture something different than what it is. Like we were talking about, in the editor you can hit shift, and when you're focusing on a block, and it tells you that the block ID and the name and so on and so forth. So I think we kind of have the infrastructure to do something like that. So we just have to decide how the game interface would be to access that. And yeah, so that could happen. Wow, 4 weeks ago. Is this real? Wow, doesn't seem like it's been that long. Anyway, Grizzly Bear. Hey, Mad Mole, I was born with a disability that doesn't allow me to speak, so I cannot communicate with friends on mic. This forces me to use chat only. The problem is this game still didn't add allies only chat, so I'm forced to use the Steam chat command, communicate with my friends privately, and sometimes get killed while chatting. Since Steam chat blacks out my screen, we add in-game allies only chat as soon as possible. I've been hoping this feature for a long time, and I'm losing hope. Sorry you're losing hope. We've stated, from the beginning, PvP is not our focus. At some point, it will be, and at that point in time, we're going to gang tackle all these things, and I'm sure that your request will be filled at that time. And Ado, hey, Mr. Mole, great job with the video and awesome progress. Keep up the good work. My question is connected to the random city gen name generation, which could be a first step for adding road signs like X miles to random city name. Have you already discussed something like that, or would it be possible? This would have a massive addition in terms of immersion as well as utility signs at crossroads. Yeah, we've talked about that kind of stuff, and it's just kind of a matter of time. First order of business is to just get a stable random gen with no bugs. That's my highest priority personally. Get that done, and then we can embellish and improve. So I'm looking forward to this next iteration. Robert's been working hard on it. We've given him a lot of time, to get this thing to a shippable state. So yeah, hopefully we can see all kinds of improvements, and the signs. I don't know if we would measure out and all that. I don't know how much time it would take to calculate all that, but yeah, having signs at intersections, yeah, that would be amazing. So tours with distant buildings coming. Will there be distant lights at some point? And any chance for lights attracting zombies at night? Um, lighting is expensive. I've seen a lot of games, they just kill the lights at a distance for obvious performance issues. So, um, I don't, and being our game is 100% dynamic, I don't know what the costs are with that, but I would lean towards probably not, just to be on the safe side. Lights attracting zombies. We've talked about that, and we don't want. I don't know. It's cool, but it's a double-edged sword because on the flip side of that is, wow, when do I have any downtime to like build or I just want to be left alone and do shit in my base at night and not be bothered by zombies that are constantly coming. So maybe a guy moving with a light could attract a zombie, but static lights on buildings, not so much, I don't think. I don't know. So that's something we'll have to carefully talk about and consider. Chris Parta. Since Alpha 16 is about electricity, could you make the lights feigning or blink when they're low hit points? I think would be a good addition to the scary environment, perhaps something connected to the intensity which the generator works. I like it, but there's a lot of people with epilepsy and seizures who've complained about flickering lights in the past, so probably not, just due to the, you know, trying to look out for all those people, and then we don't want to have to add options to disable it. It's just too much hassle, so it's best to just go with the one size fits all and not do it. Undead Wolf. I remember seeing a curved block, inside block that can be used for archways or tunnels in one of your previews, but they seem to fit in only fit in 2-block wide passages. My question is, could there be a composite version, more than 1 block per curve, kind of like 30-60 degree ramps for 3 wide and 4 wide archways? We're only allowed one. I mean, it could be done, but you'd have to have like a center arch, left arch, right arch, and it starts getting complicated. Starts cluttering up the build menu with a million curve block variations that 1% of the users might decide to use these. So I don't know yet. I mean, if we get a nice slick, radial kind of built shape menu or shape selection, square icon menu kind of thing. I don't know what we have planned yet for that. Probably not the radial. I think we're going with just a shape selection menu. Maybe, but we've got to get the basics done, and then we can start considering what needs to be added. So at that point in time, we can take a look at all that kind of stuff. We've got more arches than we've ever got, so I don't know if we need to really think about adding anything else. At least at this point, we kind of want to just kind of get wrapped up what we have to a nice shippable state sooner than later, so that we can kind of pull the trigger and get Alpha 16 out the door when we want to, rather than because if we just keep adding a million little details, debugging it and getting it shippable will take forever. So we're already getting to that point where we're wanting to be finishing up most of the work here in the next month, or I don't know. I think by mid-February we want to be probably content lock. I don't know. I didn't say any date there, did I? But what I want, what we end up doing, I don't know. So moving on. Hello, Mad Mole. Since Alpha 15 came out, everyone's been a bit upset with the new Blood Moon hordes because of how much they've been nerfed. Only 8 zombies at a time is hardly a horde. And specials are so rare in these hordes, they aren't even a threat to your base since they're mostly UMA zombies. Stainless steel isn't even needed. Will we ever see the menacing, frightening hordes the game had in A14? It is a work in progress. We have everybody. When you say everybody, you mean you and 5 friends, or your little circle. On the other hand, I could say everyone prior to Alpha 15 complained about the horrible frame rate, horrible draw distance, and we've rectified those issues, and the frame rate's actually good now, and everybody gets a horde. We also, prior to Alpha 15, only one guy on the server got a horde on horde night. Now everybody gets a horde. So we can't we can't just like say, hey, yeah, I mean, I know, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. It's a little underwhelming, and we're working on improving the performance to the point where we'd be comfortable increasing it to 12 or 16 zombies maybe. I don't know what we can. The more the better. I'm all for that, but not at the expense of poor performance and only one guy on the server getting a horde. So there's still it's kind of the same as it was. There's still a limit of about 60 zombies on the screen between Alpha 15 and Alpha 16. However, everybody's getting a horde now, so it's just something we have to deal with. So we're going to try and improve it, but I can't promise that. But I think it's better than it was because everybody's getting a horde, and for the other reasons I stated, and the performance is better. So RS Claymore, hey Mad Mole, here's my question for the week. Loving the new zombie models, but I'm just wondering, will you ever add in a crashed pilot zombie with some very rare crashed airplane drops? Reason I'm asking because I've been killed by that guy 3 times in earlier builds, and I want a bit of revenge. And no, he didn't kill me with the airdrop, he killed me with the plane itself. I have no idea what you're talking about. Airplanes don't attack people, they just fly by and drop airdrops. So Veslarius, I love the results from all the hard work you guys put into this and really appreciate the amount of interaction you give to your fans. For A16, I was wondering if control over the trader claimed land could be given to admin. In other words, ability to turn it on and off, etc. And also ability to spawn traders in custom locations. I've seen that they disappear when spawned from F6 menu. Maybe a trader spawn block or something. I don't really know what you mean by control over the land, or trader claim land can be given. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The traders own the land. I don't want any players. We don't want any admins having that. I mean, it's an NPC controlled area, and I just see admin abuse all over that request. I don't know. I guess you'd have to clarify what you're saying, but if there's bugs with the traders disappearing or something, let us know. But I think the plan we have works, and we don't really need any changes unless there's bugs to it or something. And maybe we'll add wandering traders and stuff like that travel down the roads, or I don't know, but it is the first version. So if you guys have feedback, please give us feedback so we can kind of think about, the scenarios you guys are running into and how to solve them best. So just let us know. Ouch, quit it. Just wondering what advances have been made to the implementation of compound bows, wolves, and snakes. I believe we're modeling in a compound bow. Wolves are where they're at, waiting on our animators to kind of fix the rigging issues, and I kind of have to meet with Joe and see about integrating it. And snakes are on the same boat. I think they're kind of rigged, and but I need to talk to Joe about how to integrate these guys. I think he's got a new framework for me, and I just haven't had time to get with him and get these guys in the game and get people testing on them and get them working. So we're real close to that. I'm just kind of wrapping up a few things and kind of waiting for him to kind of get sleepers tied off, and then we're going to revisit animals for a final pass and get these guys out in Alpha 16. Hey Mad Mole, love how the paint tool is turning out. You mentioned improvements in the combat system with added abilities such as finishing moves, mentioned in the Kickstarter video, blocks and power attacks. I wanted to know if these things are actually planned and if you'll get some of them in A16. They're planned, and we've done some mocap for them, but getting them into 16 could be a tall order because I think we're running out of time. We kind of want to finish it. So let's see. Slicks Girl. Hey, Mad Mole. Thanks to the team for helping us with our bases. I see you are working on textures, painting, electricity, and traps. Is there any plan to update furniture or provide us with more furniture types? For instance, we're getting Are we getting bathtubs, dressers, showers, buffet tables, armoires, spawn clothing, etc.? Not really planning anything. I have a corner table written down, to make. It's kind of the stuff you're asking for requires custom textures and normal maps, so that's something to consider, how important is this clutter that you're asking for versus, some other skinned object that we could put in the game. The block shapes, they only allow you to make cubes and arches, and something that a tileable texture works good on. Something that's got details like, handles and dresser drawers and all that. I believe those would not look good. Just mass texturing with textures from the opaque atlas, which were just generic tiling textures. So I don't know about that. I mean, we can explore that, but from my experience, 3D modeling and texturing, those items you're requesting, it would be better off as a model, and that would eat texture memory to add that kind of stuff. So I don't know if we're going to see it. I mean, some of the stuff doesn't look so good, so we might address it, but we'll see. I mean, we got more time yet, but we're just kind of getting a nice, good new framework for adding stuff now. So we have to, I don't want to just toss anything in there just to do busy work. We want to make sure it's going to be a good addition to the game and have a lot of bang for the buck and help, really add something to the game. And though I'm not saying those are bad ideas, but we need to talk about them as a group. So I can't really just say, hey, yeah, we're going to do that, because I don't know for sure. We kind of have to carefully look at how much textures we have, and we kind of have to. We're going through the painting, and we kind of want to make sure each major group has a fairly even amount of stuff in it. So this guy, I can never pronounce his name. Now that you plan to remove the destroyed brick and add shapes for them instead to save texture memory, can the same not also be done for the couches and tables and maybe other furniture blocks? No, for the same reason I just mentioned above, because unless you want it to look like Minecraft, no, those things need their own custom textures, their own special normal maps that are baked to that geometry, So I don't, maybe, a guy can mess around with that and make stuff pretty good, but like I said, from my experience, it's tough. It looks way better as a 3D model with its own skin versus, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. It could be done, but then people are going to add crappy textures to them and, put bricks on couches, and it would look stupid. So we want to keep people from making the game look stupid. I know it's fun to do that kind of stuff, but not at the expense of, a bunch of ugly screenshots on Steam. I don't know. We want the game to look good, so I want to limit people's ability. That's why we pulled out those ugly characters and put in constraints in there, because I just think it might be fun for 2 seconds, but then, it's kind of annoying, and it's an immersion breaker. If I go online and play a game and they allow crazy morphs of the faces and body proportions, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to play this game. I mean, I'm a big immersionist, and I like things to look realistic and somewhat believable, or cool in some way or another, and when you see stuff that's just bad or fugly, it just kind of takes away more than it adds. And that's just my stance on those kind of things. But yeah, we can't really do that. Those things aren't made that way. So there probably won't be any paintable furniture. We're going to kind of limit it to just, I mean, it could be done and a modder could do it, but we're not going to do it just because I don't want to see bricks. I don't want to see brick couch cushions. I don't want to see somebody take a bed and paint the pillows with barnwood. It just doesn't look right. So anyway, moving on. Question: would it be possible for us to have some of these A16 updates pulled from 16 and broken down into point release updates, so we got them in hand faster instead of holding them all back for a big? No, absolutely not. So we like to have a big impactful build. People don't like their worlds being reset every 2 weeks we tried doing weekly builds, and everybody's game had to be reset constantly, and it was frustrating to the players, and we weren't really getting a whole lot of work done because you try to add a feature and then have to test it and then go through the whole release process, listen to the feedback loop from the community, and we've determined we get way more done doing big significant builds than we do in little builds. And sorry for your big observation. I don't have time to read it right now. We're keep these short and sweet out here, and so that we can keep the videos a reasonable size and time also. Hey, Mad Mole, are there any plans to add Dead Man's Gulch, the Desert Canyons, Broken Bridge, POIs to random gen? No plans for that. Random gen is random, and if it had specific sculpted areas, it really wouldn't feel random. So, not saying we couldn't have a gulch or certain things like that in random gen. I mean, maybe the bridge could be added. I don't know, but those are things those are the advantages of a man-made map. And random gen's got the advantage of you don't know what you're going to get, but making it random and then intelligently placing a broken bridge, I guess that probably wouldn't be too hard. So maybe some of your ideas could make it in. We'll see how random gen goes. Mist, in your last video, you asked for texture suggestions, and since most of us like to make castles, how about some more old stone castle textures? Yeah, maybe. Survival, I like your name. Will you ever add apocalyptic POIs like abandoned quarantine checkpoints, overrun police roadblocks, and so on? We already kind of have that kind of stuff. If you've really looked, we don't have, maybe not police, but that's what those, the sandbag military settlements. Those are kind of like, could be police, could have been, military. But yeah, we kind of already have that sort of thing. The quarantine checkpoint. I honestly think that this thing spread so fast. They didn't have much time to. It wasn't like a CDC emergency where they were quarantining. It was just more like a big nuke went off, let off a deadly toxinous gas or radiation that just spread, and tons of people died and instantly, come back as ones of their bodies weren't completely incinerated, came back as a zombie very quickly and started eating everybody. So I really don't see this as a slow virus that spread. It was a bomb that killed millions of people, and there's only and what was left was immediately a lot of people were infected and become zombies, and it just kind of overtook in a very short amount of time. So that's kind of why I see it. So we don't really need to have quarantines or any of that. I don't think there just wouldn't have been time for it. The game already has different buffs and debuffs that somehow affect the player. Will there ever be any medication, military development that will temporarily increase endurance, force strike, force jump, or can it be partially attributed to the category of mods? For example, some medicines will give strength like a bear, others give speed like a rabbit. We already have things like that. If you look at all the actual buffs, I think we don't really have a strength attribute, but I think we have some stuff that buffs. I think I've wanted stuff like that. Endurance, take half damage, be able to deal double damage, et cetera, et cetera. We just need to kind of review all that stuff. And I've been wanting better buffs and more attributes for a long time, and we've been talking on it. So hopefully sooner than later we'll see something. Kingslayer, hey, what's up, man? Could you please add trees to the distant terrain? It would improve the overall look of the game. Yes, we're looking into that. I don't know if we can afford it, but we're looking into it. It's kind of the next topic. So, Gamida wants to know, is it possible that we could have the option to name just Hub City to what we want? It would be nice if you could have a game server with a hub game related to your game server. You'd have to ask Robert. Strupping it. I can't remember. Greetings from Austria again. I loved the game. With the new block and texture system, will we see an interface overhaul? No, sorry for my horrible. I need to rehearse an Arnold line and then I can nail it. But I'm just blurting this out like that. Yeah, I don't know. Will we see? I can't even talk Arnold and think at the same time. So let me start over. With the new block and texture system, will we see an interface overhaul with the different block variants to become one, or will it be the same as now? Wood frame, shingle, redwood block, or will different shapes get one like wood block and then the new GUI showed with ramp, full block, half block stair? Oh man, I'm gonna have to pause and read this carefully. I can't do this under the gun. Your question is too much. To answer your question, honestly, I don't even know. So, I mean, we're kind of still, we want to generify, everything down to a wood frame. And then you can upgrade it with concrete to concrete or, to whatever you like, using the right material. But basically, we want to just build with solid blocks. And then you will go and texture the insides with drywall or paint or whatever, or put bricks on, etc., etc. So I hope that answers your question. Hey Gron, greetings from Montreal. It's great to see all the love you are putting into Alpha 16. Thank you. With the new rotation system, will we be able to rotate all the centered blocks, windows, glass, so it can be placed on the edge of a full block and vice versa? No, you'll use a centered block for centered, and you'll use an offset block for the offsets. Unless we somehow can figure out how to merge those rotations into one class, but I think it's separate because it's easier that way, and there's more. I don't know if there's enough bits to allow all the rotations and include center into one class. I don't think it is, so we'll probably just have centered and then we'll have offset. Oz Hawkeye, great preview again last week. Will we ever be able to export future versions the previewed map? This would make great for good seed threads as people posted the preview output of particular seed names. I don't know. I guess what you're wanting to take a random gen map and you want to export it as a bitmap. Is that what you're wanting to do? I guess clarify why you want to do this and what use it would have, and then maybe we can look into it. Calyx, will the bulletproof glass qualify as letting in enough light to grow crops through so we can make a greenhouse? I think so. I don't see why not. That would be kind of cool. Hot Lava. Hey, Mad Mole. Really looking forward to Alpha 16 paintbrush tool, especially. My question is, how hard would it be to implement clock objects in the game that sync with the game clock, and has the team ever considered it? No, we haven't. The time's right there. Why do you want to look at a clock in the game? I guess, I don't know. I don't see any value because we already know the time, but that's just me. Burad Sky. Weekly question to Mad Mole. Hello there. How soon shall we see an expansion for the Navezgane map? For me, I'd really love to see some new underground structures like sewers, tunnels, and catacombs. I'm not sure. We're still messing around with caves, so they might just be random caves even in Navezgane. I'm not sure yet, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Guppy Cur, Horde mode. Nothing yet. Random gen improvements, sleepers, complete all these new block shapes, new shape selection tool, texturing, paintbrush, all that stuff. We're working on all that. So if we've got any spare time, we can toss Horde mode in, but it's not really on the table right now. Creator, sounds like you're letting the programmer do his thing regarding improvements to random gen roads and cities. Can one of you tell us how roads will handle steep terrain, such as if a town's surrounded by mountains on all sides, how will it place roads leading out of that town? I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Robert about that. He's the random gen guru, but I think he's not going to be placing cities in mountains so much unless his algorithm says, hey, this is a suitable place. So we'll see, I guess. I don't know. I haven't even seen it. I've seen overhead screenshots and stuff like that, and I showed them to you guys, but I haven't seen it firsthand. I don't know how close he is, so I guess everybody will be updated once I'm updated. The Wind of Sunset, Destruction Mechanics of Doors. Hey, Mad Mole. Thanks for making this awesome game. Could you please improve the destruction mechanics of doors? As for now, zombies must annihilate the door entirely before entering into. It would be logical if the door will swing open on the last stage of destruction. Maybe even some random chance of door opening by zombies, as well as the inner door bolts to eliminate. Honestly, we put way too much design, or the doors were over designed in the first place. We put too much work into them, fixing bugs and getting them to where they're at, and we're not touching the doors with a 10-foot pole unless we're just going to simplify them. That's the only thing we might do. Hey, Mad Mole, thanks for the continued videos and updates. Close to hitting 700 hours. Awesome, Farlow. My question involves the crosshairs. Are there any plans on adding the option to customize the color? Maybe just a few extra color options. The reason I ask, in some biomes, particularly the snow, I occasionally lose the crosshair because it doesn't really have a contrasting color to the background. Sounds like it ought to have a gray border then, like most fonts, or a black border. So I don't know if we're going to have any options, but we can certainly improve the main one to have a border so that it reads in all light settings. Binoculars, thank you for the game. Can we get binoculars, please? They can be found or made. Yeah, we used to have a scope, so it's a possibility. Be like poor man's sniper rifle. Shouldn't be hard to do. I mean, you just have to add a zoom command to the XML setting and have a hand object. So we could probably get that in at some point. I was talking about that the other day. So Motion Jack 59. Will it be at Alpha 16 that the first person perspective will get new animations to make it significantly better, such as when you hit the zombies with a weapon? Nope. We're working on new third-person anims, but I haven't really heard any complaints of first-person animations. I think they're decent. I don't know. You guys have, specific feedback? Yeah, I know we don't have. I've always wanted a trigger that says, "Hey, are you attacking a tree or are you attacking a zombie?" And then we could play a separate animation. So we just need to kind of do a target ID right when the animation flies. And if you're targeting a zombie, play animation 1. If you're targeting a tree, we designed it to look good chopping trees because that's what you're doing. And the axe is like made for cutting wood and not really meant to be a zombie killing weapon. I would think the balancing would kind of help people figure that out, but everybody wants to use an axe to kill zombies, so they expect it to look good, and I get that. So that's on the list. When that happens, I don't know. We just need a little more programming power in the animation department, and that's something we're looking into. So, but yeah, I'd like to see that. Moving on, Labrat 309. Hey, first time poster. Thanks for all the improvements and features coming. You're welcome. I was wondering if we can get some more sound control. Guns, augers are extremely loud. Would love the ability to adjust the volume without affecting background noises. Currently, the only way to turn them down is to lower the master volume. I doubt we're going to give any users more sound control. You know, it sounds like it's, you know, more like a bad balancing issue of the sound effects, you know. So I don't think any games offer individual volume controls and tuners and knobs for particular guns and whatnot. So yeah, I guess, you know, if you think it's too loud, or I guess maybe we can go through that when we're in beta and maybe adjust some volumes a little more. But I think it's okay, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't typically get an auger. I don't know. Guns I don't think are too loud. Guns are loud in real life, so I don't know. Maybe you just need to turn all your volume down. I don't think the balance is bad, but that's just me. Everybody's got their own opinion about that, so I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you. TXI Green Man. I find the reload speed of some weapons a bit annoying. I know the Magnum and Sniper are very powerful weapons, but reload times are so freaking slow. I think it would be nice if the reload speed increases a bit as you level up the specific skill. What do you think? You know, I've requested and talked about faster reloads with a skill that you can buy. You know, it's just a matter of coding in, you know, a playback rate modifier so that we could do that, you know, and then we'd have to break the sounds into having sound triggers like the zombie thuds when they fall. We've got that functionality. We just need to link, instead of playing one sound file for the gun unloading, you know, click, click, whatever. You know, we would have to, you know, do the clip remove sound or magazine remove sound, and then insert new bullets into the magazine, and then shove it back into the gun. Those all would need to be triggered sounds on the animations so that they could play in sync to the animation. So there's a little bit of framework changes needed to do that, and we've talked about it. It's just a matter of priorities. So maybe at some point, but we have a plan on how to do it, but it's just a matter of getting engineering effort and getting that on the goals list. Runman. Is there a plan to improve the range of the shotgun so that it does different amounts of damage depending on distance? Yeah, we need that. We just don't have that function. Array hits and it does damage, but we need to add in distance traveled, and then, you know, scale the damage based on range. But we don't have that ability yet, but it's planned. Skin beef. Is it possible to make an option to generate a map of just pure Wasteland hub city, or any biome, I guess, but the city would be a fun challenge for those of us who run max difficulty and still want more? I believe it is possible, or it will be possible. All right, that's it. Thanks, everyone. Let's try to keep these questions as short and to the point as possible, and that'll help keep things rolling, and I can get you guys these videos easier and quicker. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and tune in this weekend for a new preview that I'll be doing. It's probably tomorrow. All right, I'm out.